grab you a cup of coffee, and today we are going to talk about how our family does school 3 to 4 days a week. Hey everyone, if you are new to our channel, I am a homeschool mom of 4. I have two 16-year-olds, a 14-year-old, and a 12-year-old, which also means this school year I have 3 high school and my last time with a middle school student. And through those 12 years of experience in teaching, I have learned so many things about what works best for my family. And one of the reasons why I started our YouTube channel was nobody was doing it the way we were. It was either, when we first started, the only thing I was finding was school at home, or people just completely freelancing 100% everything, was never using any curriculum. And I was kind of somewhere in the middle, but closer to this side. And I couldn't find the help that I needed for how do I homeschool with a mix of I want curriculum for specific subjects and then freelance the rest of it. I want to make my own schedule so that we can travel for school. And it was kind of difficult to find that. So through 12 years, a lot of the videos that I show, and I'm kind of doing this as a video for this because I feel like this is the best video to talk about this, is I learned what worked best for our family. The other thing for us is we have 2 dyslexic and we have 2 advanced placement students. And I'm not saying a dyslexic student can't be advanced placement. I'm just saying that's kind of where it works out. But one of the things that I learned through that also was there are many ways to teach. It doesn't always have to be really thick book or really thick workbook with 20,000 supplements to go with it. It can be watching videos, recording things, voice to text. So a lot of the things we've learned is just stuff that we've learned for what works best for our family. So if you watch and you're like, I'm afraid to comment, I'm afraid to do this, I'm afraid to do that, it's okay. Do what works best for your family. I know a family that for the first time, they're doing co-ops this year once a week for one of their subjects because they were having difficulty filling in, I think it was a fine arts credit. I don't remember. One of their credits, they needed help to be able to complete what they were supposed to complete for what the program that they used to teach with is. And I'm good with that. That was what they needed to do for their family. I know families who do the hybrid where your kids go to co-op 2 to 3 days a week and then you do the rest. I know my husband was a homeschooler in middle and high school, and his mom worked during the day. So by the time he turned 16, he would work a full-time job during the day and then he would homeschool at night while his mom was there. Because back then, your parent had to be sitting there in the room with you or it didn't count. That's not as much the standard today because more households today, both parents have to work. So but that worked for them, and that's how that he and his sister did it. And well, his sister did complete high school. But that's how they did it for their family. So every single family is different. I can stay home with my kids and I can schedule what we feel is best. So let's talk about the schedule. I'm not going to show you the actual picture, but in this floppy folder, I keep everything I need. On the first page of it, and this is not the one I use for travel, this is specifically for at home. So the reason that I do that, sorry, I had a paperclip move on me and I'm trying to put it back. The reason why I have one folder for home and one folder for travel is I don't want to risk going out and traveling and then losing this much. That's 20 something pages of lesson plans, and well, not necessarily lesson plans, I'll explain that in a minute, but 20 something pages of plans for attended plans for our school year for the fall semester. I didn't do the whole year, I just did the fall semester. So on the first page I put our proof of homeschooling, which we use Home Life Academy, and they send us a proof of homeschooling every year. It gives each child's name, their grade, and then their birth date. So that way if there's ever any, and it says status active so that we can prove that that's, ours on there, and there's a number that people can call if they just really feel like it. We've never had that problem before. We have had people be like, oh, they're 11, 9, and 8. I'm like, no, that's their grades. It's under the grade. I just kind of gently, I'm like, no, ma'am, that's under the grade box. Their ages are under their birth dates. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, that's just how it works. But I don't, it's different. So then the next thing I have is, another cool thing Home Life does is they have planning sheets for your college path. So what I actually did was I printed one for my now middle schooler. She'll get a new one next year, or no, she'll get a new one this spring, because 8th grade year with Home Life, when you start your spring semester, you make your attentive in pencil, and they tell you to do it in pencil, college path plan. All of ours, they just told us if your kids are not 100% sure, just always do college path, because that way if they decide not to go to college, it's no harm. But if they decide their senior year they're going to college, then you don't have to play catch up on 20,000 classes. Plus, the system will only allow high school students to put in 8 classes, like for the entire year. And classes are, except for health, for personal finance, government, and economics, all the classes are year round. Well, like if you do a school year, it's a school year, but for us it's year round. Actually it's not, I'll explain that later. But anyway, so what I did was I took the goal-based planning, and then I wrote out my middle schooler's attendance plan for what classes she wanted to do for middle school, because like for middle school science, it was whatever she wanted. For middle school history, it was mostly whatever she wanted. Technically in the state of Tennessee, your 7th grader is supposed to do Tennessee history. That video is somewhere up in the cards and probably in the description below. We did a really cool, fun thing for Tennessee history this year, and it seemed to work out really well for us. And then this year she's doing American history, because most 8th graders in Tennessee do American history for 8th. It's kind of like a refresher course before they start high school. And I still kind of have the mindset that like sometimes it feels like middle school is just a placeholder. And like from homeschool kids, it feels like middle school is a placeholder, which is why she skipped 6th grade and she's on a 3-year college or a 3-year high school path. The next one on here is the middle school path that my now 9th grader took. And then I have her high school path for all 4 years, and then my 2 11th graders. And then basically what we do with them is as they complete them, we'll actually highlight them in different colors so that they know that they completed them. And then that always, also that way for them at home, it's kind of like a check off so that they can know which credits they've completed and then which ones they need to complete to graduate. So then the next tab I have on here is called Year at a Glance. If you want to know where I got the worksheets that I used to complete these, except for the home life ones, it is in a book called How to Homeschool by Gail Graham. I think that book is always in our Amazon affiliates below. You can get it on Amazon, but she has one sheet that's Mom's Week at a Glance, and that is where I fill in what our entire week looks like on a normal basis. So let's go ahead and start talking about that and talk about what okay. This is going to be funny. My kids might laugh in the background. They're doing math right now. I was going to name off the classes, but no. They're doing math right now. But this is what a normal week looks like. Yeah, we don't have normal weeks. And that's kind of one thing that's really hard to explain to people is because of the way that our lifestyle is and how our work is, and my husband's work, and just the fact that we add in as much travel schooling as we can, volunteer work, church, whatever, we don't have 2 weeks that ever look the exact same. It never has worked out that for our entire 12 years of homeschooling. We've never, every time I've tried to do like a week of homeschooling videos, it ends up failing. I've only done it successfully once, the first year that we did YouTube. And even that week I talk about on the video, well, I had to change plans for this today because I had to do this. Well, I had to change plans for this today because I had to do this. I never have like a quote unquote normal week of homeschooling ever for our kids. What I did was I wrote down an attentive, this is a checklist of things to do. And it's under a schedule. But honestly, even for our kids, just like one of the things about homeschooling is I feel like teenagers need more sleep than what they get. So I'm fine letting my kids sleep in. Now, if they're still asleep by like 8:30, I'll usually get them up, sometimes at 8. But I don't like getting them up super early. Now, like there's two things here. There's one side of me that says I need to train them to get up early because like when they go to a job, they have to get up at a specific time to go. But there's also a part of me that says, but they're not developing teenagers when they're adults working jobs and they need the extra sleep. So that's kind of like where I am. There's some days we do get up early and we'll get the school done if like we have a super busy day, or if we're doing a shopping day, or if like we're having a middle of the week, oh hey, we've got to do this thing, I'll get them up early to do math or whatever, and then we'll pack up whatever else we need and get out the door. And that's the other thing too, is like because of travel schooling, a lot of our schedule is designed to where like some of our subjects we can grab with us and go out the door at any moment's notice. But the first thing I have on here is the wake up schedules. And on Tuesdays and Fridays, whenever I need the van, because we only have one vehicle, I'll have on here specific time that I have to get the kids up if I'm taking the van, and then another time for if I'm not taking the van. So the first class that we do today is math. 2 reasons. Number one, Math is usually the hardest subject to do because you need the most focus to do it. So doing it first thing in the morning, right after you have breakfast, decaf coffee, cider, milk, whatever they drink, orange juice, whatever they drink with their breakfast that morning. It seems to have helped when we put math first instead of at the end of the day, and they're more alert and able to complete the work. Also, math is the only in the state of Tennessee, after talking to numerous counselors from numerous umbrella schools, math is the only subject, according to the state of Tennessee, that has to be done every single day, and you have to complete the curriculum. Now, with homeschooling, you don't have to complete 100% of the curriculum because a lot of homeschooling has fillers for the people who need their kids to do school for 180 days. Again, let's talk about the fact that my husband worked a full-time job and then came home and did school in the evening. There are some kids who will be doing school while mom and dad are working from home. Like his parents didn't have that option. But like there'll be some kids whose parents work from home. They need their kids to be doing school while they're working from home. So if you need that, do a curriculum and do the whole 180 days. We personally don't need that. Now what I do is when the kids are doing math is when I edit videos. Like I have one that usually gets up a little bit after me or the same time as me. And this year also for our kids, all of our kids are independent when it comes to their breakfast. So they each get up, they read their Bible, they eat their breakfast, and they immediately start math. Then once everybody finishes math and I finished editing the video for that day, which right now I'm filming while they're doing math. When they finish that video, or when they finish the math for the day and I finish editing, then we move on to the next subject. So the first thing that they do is math. Again, like I said, for me, I didn't give reason number two. Reason number two is because we live in a rural area. Internet is the worst here. Once all the public school kids get home from school between 2 and 4 o'clock, the quality of our internet just crashes. It's to where now, like at 3 o'clock, we have a timer on our kids' Chromebooks where they lock at 3 o'clock because they don't need them after 3 o'clock anyways. Usually if they're on after 3, the math website is like loading, or it's just not loading at all, or there's glitches. So the earlier in the day we can do math, the more that math they can get done. I'm gonna go through, this is hard. I could either go through week by week or I could go day by day, but it doesn't matter. It's all gonna be different. Math is the only thing that's the same Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And not every Tuesday do we do math. Someday on travel Tuesdays, we have worksheets they do for math. They have to fill out the distance to the destination we're going in miles, then convert it to kilometers. They have to keep up with their own spending budget. They have to record their budget in a financial planner. We haven't had to do the converting currency thing yet. Sometimes I do bring up, like when we cross state borders, hey, this state has a different tax than we do. In Tennessee, it's almost 10% for everything. I think they finally dropped our groceries down to 6 or 7%, but it's almost 10%. It's like 9.25. Except in the touristy areas, it's 10% tax on everything. So like, we'll talk about taxes and we'll talk about like spending and how, like, you know, when you go out to eat in a more touristy area, you're going to spend more money. So we talk about like stuff like that, but we have like specific worksheets. And then like if they're struggling in specific areas, I may print some extra worksheets. We also have a graph paper notebook that's always in our travel schooling bag that we take with us. And I think I shared that video back when we did our June staycation trip. We stayed at a friend's house and helped take care of their property and helped clean up their property after a tree came down and stuff while they were out of town. But I think I showed the bag then. But like, yeah, we have a bag that's like just travel schooling. Then we have a bag we call the fun schooling that has like the coloring activities, a kit that I assembled from parts from Dollar Tree. It's like a craft thing, and that'll be up there. So like we have 2 different bags and we'll grab those and go. So that's the only thing that's consistent. And like even like on travel days, we may do worksheets, but if we're at home and doing lab day, which that's the thing is like the goal at the beginning of the year was like one day would be field trip, and then the next week on that same day would be lab days, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. Other than math, it's all day by day. So let's go through Monday. So after math, on the odd numbered Monday, so 1st, 3rd, 5th school week, and then like on my school weeks, I'll try to show you real quick without showing you like actual work. In the top corner, it's not gonna show you, but that red pin mark, that is the week number. So on the weeks that are odd numbers, starting with the first week is week number 1, we do what's called Movie Monday. If you haven't seen them, there is a whole group of videos before this one, 4 or 5 videos before this one on movies as literature. So we use movies to teach literature. And last year we tried just implementing the movies in each week into a week. And sometimes we were missing movies, sometimes it was just a lot to have to sit down and watch a 2-hour movie on top of doing all the other schoolwork. So something new that we're doing this year is we're doing Movie Monday. And another thing that we do is if they have completed their report from the week before, that Friday, like they have to complete it by Thursday on week 2. Like they get 2 weeks to do the reports. So if they complete it by that Thursday, on Friday they can help pick out like fun snacks to be able to do for Movie Monday. Like the first week we did a kit from Sam's that had like Pokemon graham crackers, and animal crackers. This time we bought mandarin orange cups in the juice from Sam's. It's like we go to Sam's and we pick something fun, and then that way they have like something fun to snack on and hopefully more leaning towards healthy during Movie Mondays. And also Movie Mondays we're more likely to eat like a snacky lunch instead of like a normal lunch. So yeah, so we'll do Movie Monday. I start with my 8th grader and she does her movie first. Some of her movies coincide with the 11th graders, and I explained all of that in the videos. Go back and watch the videos. Yes, they're long, but it's more descriptive than what I can give here. I'm already 16 minutes in and I'm just to the second subject of the day, which y'all probably won't see as much because I'm cutting out whenever I'm coughing, because like the weather is really weird right now. The ragweed's in bloom and like it's super wet and rainy, which means we're getting dry air conditioning in our house, but we have to run the dehumidifier because the rain, yeah, it's welcome to Tennessee, where you get 4 climates in one day. What we'll do is on Movie Monday, they do their math, and then I do the 8th grader first. If the 8th grader and 11th graders have the same movie, then we do both. We don't watch the movie twice, we watch it once. But I start with whatever the 8th grader is, and then the 9th grader, and then the 2 11th graders. After that, they have free time. If their Chromebook is unlocked and they want to work on foreign language, they can. Or the other thing I like about our schedule is it also gives them more time to do their chores and things in the evenings and on lab days once we finish labs. So that's what movies look like. And then on the every other week, when we're not doing, oh, that's a Labor Day week, so I can't look at that one. On every other week, when they're not watching the movie, they can spend up to 2 hours writing their reports. Then they can move on to science, their health. We try to get 30 minutes of PE in every day, their history, and then the day is finished off with trying to finish their report before their Chromebooks lock at 3 o'clock. And there's times like, if they're not done by 3, I will unlock their Chromebook and let them finish with me in the office, usually while I'm doing some kind of editing or something. So that's what Mondays look like. On Tuesdays, Tuesday is our field trip or lab day. The only subject that they have to do the work on is math. And there are days that I will be lenient. If they're caught up a lot, then I won't make them do math that day. But the goal is to do field trip or hands-on day or lab day. Sometimes it's hands-on day. So what I do is I will look at their science and their health, which not all, the 3 high schoolers are doing health, the middle schoolers not. I'll look at their science and health, and any labs that they have for 2 weeks go on that one lab day. And then the goal is for us to have done a field trip. We ended up with seasonal allergies and cough and stuff on the first week we were supposed to do field trip, and then like there was so East Tennessee, most people don't know this, whenever there's a hurricane, we get severe thunderstorms within a couple days after the hurricane hits landfall in Florida or North Carolina. So like we had severe thunderstorms around that time, and like we ended up with like tornado like winds when it happened. Sometimes when it happens, so like we ended up not traveling the first couple times we wanted to do field trip days. But that's the goal, is that we're going to do field trip days. So on field trip days, we might bring math with us depending on how far we're going. If it's somewhere super close by, I'm not going to worry about math. If it's somewhere where we're going to be driving like for 2 hours, they're going to bring some math worksheets, and then they can bring a travel schooling video. This year we're doing a lot of the It's America Charlie Brown, because 1 American history, 2 US history. But then like on lab days, we'll do all the science labs in one day. We do all the health hands-on or labs in one day. And I wrote my own health. I'll be going over that in the spring after we finish and show you all what it is. Again, PE, the goal is 30 minutes a day. If we're doing indoors, we do either indoor exercises or like what I would call physical therapy, you know, hence the air quotes. It's not like actual, you know, certified physical therapy. It's just stuff that we do to like, hey, let's do these stretches and things that are good for our physical bodies. Just things we already naturally know are good for our body. History, every other Monday we do history. On the lab days, there's no history. Sometimes we'll do like games. When all 3 of the American US history students were on American Revolution. We actually have this game that's called the tax game, and then their dad is the king of England, and then I'm the tax collector. And then they have like these pirate coins that they've had for years. We do like weird things, like if you ate breakfast today, you must pay 2 taxes. If you have on a green shirt, you must pay the green shirt tax. And we do that to like teach it. So like we did that on one hands-on day. But usually history is not. Usually it's health and science. And the reason I do that is because sometimes it's so hard to get those labs in. So it was easier to just do one lab day each week. And it's something also that Gail Graham talks about in her book, and she highly encourages, because it helps to just have that lab day, because then you're focused on this is when the labs are getting done for 2 weeks worth of work. And the way that the 101 series, this will be another video later. The next video after this one's gonna be Biology 101 review, because we're finishing it, and then a Chemistry 101 overview, so far what we think, and then we'll do a review next year when we start Physics 101. So far the way it works though is it's mostly video based. Labs are on there, and I'll get into that in the video, but basically every 2 weeks you do a lab. So it worked out anyway. So it works to have a lab every other week, and that's kind of the way we did it. Wednesdays, I try to allow time for rest. Usually we're at church later than we would normally be anywhere else. So I try to allow some more time for rest if we need. And instead of doing PE, I do like, I call it a nap or read time, where the kids have to sit down and either take a nap or read, unless we sleep in. Today we slept in, it's Wednesday, so we're probably not going to. Again, they do math, they do science. And if you have science videos, that's when you do science. My other 2 are doing mostly worksheets this year, so they're doing worksheets for science. Health, sometimes they will do their health movie on Wednesday if we had a movie Monday. If we did not have a movie Monday, then their health video goes on Monday. And then they will do health work that day. PE, again, is nap. History on Wednesday is when I watch the U.S. history video with them. This year we're doing Hillsdale College's Land of New Hope for their U.S. history. And it's 1 video a week, and like it's not even 1 video every week, but we do 1 video a week, and we watch it together on my account, just the 3 of us together, and then we'll like watch it after nap, or we'll watch it later in the afternoon, and then they go back and re-watch it later in the week before the next Wednesday and take the quiz. It actually means I have to take the quiz too, and it's kind of funny to me. But anyways, so I'll actually take my quiz after they leave the office. But on Wednesday is the day that we watch those history videos for it. Literature, it gets done when it gets done. Like it's not a big push. They watch the video. They have 2 weeks to do the literature report. If they only do a couple sentences a day, I don't care. It gets done when it gets done. It's just one of those, like it does. And then foreign language, I only have 1 who's doing it for credit this year, and she seems to be doing okay at it. We have some weeks where we struggle to get it every day, but it's also Duolingo, and it's a year-round class, so I'm not super pushy on like her getting it done like every single day. Thursdays is the closest we're gonna get to a quote-unquote normal day, whatever. Thursdays also sometimes we end up out of the house for like community service and things. I don't say that for yay, I just say that for like just information. Like that would be the day I would pick it, because I don't want to take movie Monday or lab day to do community service unless we absolutely have to. So Thursday, again, they'll start the day with math, and then they move on to science if they've already watched. Now my dyslexic 11th grader will rewatch the science video, and that's the day that my AP science student will actually go and do some of the extra written work for AP students. So that's kind of balances like that. And then like if she's watching the video while the other one's watching the video, and like doing the work while the video's on it, sometimes I think it's helping. I don't know. I don't even know if they can hear me. They usually wear earbuds while they're doing math. But I think it's helping. And then rewatching the video really helps my dyslexic one to be able to remember the work a lot better before she takes the quiz. And she's opted to do the quizzes this year. So, and then health, I try to, usually the way I do it is there's usually some kind of journaling or something. We'll get into it later. So with health, whatever work is left for that week, we finish it on Thursday, or we do like a sit down talk about whatever health topic we're doing. PE, it just kind of happens. Also, on the good thing about youth group with us for Wednesday night is that I count that time as PE if they're up and moving and playing basketball with the youth group after church. And there's a coffee spot for the parents, so it works out really well. History, once they've watched, the U.S. history students have watched the video, they can go back and re-watch and take the quiz they want to. Usually they do that on lab days, or on, no, they do it on the not a movie Monday ones. That's when they do the, no, wait, yeah. On not a movie Monday, they'll do it on Monday, and sometimes they'll do it on Thursday. Sometimes they'll do it the same day if we have the time. And then for my 8th grade student, history, she has a lot of reading that she's opted to do, or if she has like extra like fun worksheets that she wants to do, or the American Girl sticker book, but you've seen that in another video, that's when she'll do it. And then again, like foreign language, it just kind of happens and fills in. And then we do not do any work on Fridays because that is our family shopping day. So that's basically it. That's basically how our schedule goes. Like I said, movie Monday, and just a brief review, movie Monday, every other Monday. And then on the Mondays we're not doing it, we'll focus more on that day of doing the reports. If they need to rewatch the video, they can rewatch it that day. And then we'll, like, math is always number 1. And then after that, so like on non-movie Mondays, they'll focus on their reports, and then they'll fill in what are the classes that they feel like they may need to get caught up on, which you're never behind in homeschooling unless you're just like, unless you're in trouble. Like, you shouldn't be behind in homeschooling. I say that. So like some people just feel like they're always behind. And like, honestly, if you think of homeschooling as the fact that it's more like a tutoring thing than it is like, this is your work, you have to finish, blah, 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 blah. Then the way that we teach, there's not really a behind. If they have a week where they miss a history video, okay, we worked in time where you could get caught up on that. I don't feel like under our schedule you could ever get behind, so it's just kind of different for us. Monday, the every other Monday where they're not doing the videos, there's time built in for like if they want to do the literature report. And then like the non-AP students, it's 1 paragraph. The AP students, I just need a little more detail, 3 to 5 paragraphs. So far we haven't had any problem finishing it by the Thursday before the next movie starts. So, and we're on our 3rd video, so I'm not really super worried about it. But yeah, so that's the Monday. And then Tuesday, library field trip. Really hoping to get some field trips next week. I've got some history is kind of like my literature and history are my focus areas of where I can focus my time on investing into, because that's the areas that I do best at. And then Matt is the math and science, so he can look at stuff and say this. Like when the first time we did labs together, he actually did labs with the kids while I was at a homeschool mom dinner, and he was like, you know, it says this, but I kind of wanted to talk about this too because it'll add more. He added a little more things into the science experiment because he thought it would help them understand some of the concepts better. So that was something I would not have thought to do. I would have just done the experiment, talked about it, and then moved on, let them do some journaling if they need to write down some results and things to help them keep caught up. But he has more of a mindset of like, well, let's look at this a little bit differently and see if the results are the same. And I love that because like it's a balance. Like I can focus on math and literature and history, and he can focus on math and science, and it works out really well. Like I said, the Wednesdays mostly focus on rest and US history. Thursdays is when, if you don't have it done, let's work on it. And we try to just do it together. And the goal is also to remind our kids that like we do everything focused together as a family, because you have to learn that no matter what you're doing in life, you're going to have to work well with other people. So that's kind of one of the things that we do. But that's it for today's video. Sorry it's super long. I didn't mean for it to go quite as long, but like it's kind of hard to explain. We don't have 2 weeks in a row that are the exact same. We just kind of, and we don't have a set like 9, 10, 11, 12 schedule, because I also have kids with anxiety, and like giving them set time frames like that, it was more detrimental to us than like saying, well, now like math, they know, like please spend an hour on it, and they're like, okay, we'll do an hour. And if we don't finish, oh well, they're smart. Like they've gotten to where like math is okay. But like if we did that every subject, that's just a lot and it's so overwhelming. So like we don't do it that way. This is the way we do it. And again, the reason why I show these videos is to show the way I do it. If I can help inspire you to do it the way you want to do it, then go for it. You don't have to do it the exact way I do it. You don't have to do it the exact way as a mom who uses a 100% box curriculum, uses every single thing in that curriculum, plus all of the supplementals and little toys and things that come with it. Like, you know, I'm talking about the shapes and things you buy with the math classes and stuff. I'm not saying that she's literally wasting money on toys. You know what I mean, I think. And then like, if this mom over here doesn't want to use curriculum and that works best for her family and her kids are learning, go for it. Do whatever works best for you and your family, and pray over it. Make that list of priorities. Like my friend Darylyn always says, make that list of priorities. That way on the bad days, you remember. And on the days that you start questioning yourself, you remember. And just go for it. You can do this. I'm here to support you. Email me thishomeschoolingadventure@gmail.com if you ever need support. Message me on Facebook or Instagram. Comment section below any videos, and I will try to help you out. There is a huge community that I'm a part of that I can also get feedback from. Just whenever if you need help, let us know. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you, members, for supporting this content and allowing us to continue making videos. Thank you to all of you for liking, watching, positive comments, and subscribing. And we will see you next time.